So I mean, you guys are currently in the middle of filming season 4. So
That's
like,
right, yeah.
and
Some big baggy eyes.
yes.
We're just we've got a week's break. We also give the cast and crew a week's break. So fortunately it coincided with Comic-Con, so we could bring most of the cast with us. But yeah, we started filming in March and we end in October. So it's full on year. We're always sort of in the year is always we're either in pre-production, filming, or post-production. We're always in a cycle of Merlin. So
I mean, this
live and eat Merlin at the moment.
I mean, that seems kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure if that seems long or short for a show like this, for that production schedule.
It feels long.
Longer than it would be in the States. We film in the UK. We tend to film. You'd film stuff like this probably in 8-9 days. We do it in about 12, and we film with smaller crews. So that's sort of the trade-off. That tends to be how it works in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, is there like a benefit of that? I mean, is it just because the scope of this thing is so amazing, or
to some extent there is a benefit because it allows us. When you shoot action adventure on television, it's difficult because the truth is you just don't have enough shooting time to do it justice, and the fact that we have more days allows us to shoot more units. So on an action sequence, we'll probably shoot 3 units. Just to get the shots, simply that's the only way to do it. And I think the US way of doing that tends to be to throw more people at it, and our way is to throw more time. I don't know which works better, but
yeah. But we've got to a point now because the ambition of Series 4 is so much bigger that we've got the main unit, we've got an action unit, a pickup unit, a green screen unit, and another unit running. So some days where a normal day will be triple banking now. So the shoot becomes more and more complex. But I think that's because we become more confident with the show and what we can achieve, and so therefore we're always pushing the look of the show.
Like Colin was talking about, like there was always kind of a 5-year plan in place for the show. I mean, is that kind of still where you're aiming for, or do you think you can go beyond that?
We're not far away from where we plan to be, which is unusual actually. Normally shows change a lot, but this isn't miles away from the plan we had, and the end. We think in 5 seasons because it's just an easy way of thinking, and it allows us to build the story slowly. And I think where we were aiming for at the end of season 5 is probably where we'll end up. Not far off.
But I mean, that isn't that it will end at season 5. I think that that it's very much about how if the show carries on with the momentum it does with the fans, and we still have this huge worldwide success, then I think that we'll definitely carry on with the show. But that decision's always out of our hands.
I mean, kind of wait for season 4 to air and see if it's growing or not, and then maybe kind of decide.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there anyone that you always have been kind of trying to lobby to get on, like as a guest star for Merlin, that you maybe might still shoot for the end of season 4 or maybe season 5?
Oh yeah, well there's an actor that I've always wanted who was in Battlestar Galactica, who played Gaius hilariously. We wrote a storyline, and I was just saying, God, it would be great if we could get him on it. So we sent the script and we got it.
Yeah. There's people we do chase actually, and sometimes Johnny's right. We'll write with somebody in our minds, but we have more and more regular characters now because we have all the Knights in series 4, and what it actually unfortunately means is there's probably less big guest parts. I mean, there are still some very good guest parts, but probably less than in series 3.
Because you're moving kind of closer to like the round table and all those kinds of things.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, and it makes a real difference.
Yeah, and I think season 4 is just slightly more serialised because it becomes more about our 4 younger characters, more about the Knights of the Round Table and those adventures, and more about Arthur's relationship with his father, and a very touching story about how a son deals with a father who's basically a broken man, and how he deals with that, and also the ongoing love triangle between himself, Gwen, and Lancelot.
So this San Diego seems to be an annual stop for you guys. So can you talk about the difference between? Is there a difference between the fan response here at Comic-Con or just on the sci-fi in general, as opposed to the UK response?
Well, I think Comic-Con's always really good fun to come to. We do similar things in England, but they're never as big. I mean, Comic-Con is massive. There's a huge amount of people, so it's always kind of bigger, bolder, and better than them. But the stuff in England is really good fun to do. But Comic-Con does feel massive.
Yeah, it's the nicest thing we do by a mile, and it's really it's rare for us to get direct feedback from the fans. We don't have time. We're always filming, and so it's a real treat, and it's sort of really useful actually.
Yes.
It reminds you why you're doing something.
Yeah, because like I was saying, we were always in this kind of creative Merlin bubble. We never kind of see reality. It's always sort of magic. So it's nice to kind of come to Comic-Con and to get reactions of fans and to see that people really enjoy your work. And as a program maker, it doesn't get better than that, really.
So just what would you just like to say to fans who have been tuning in so far about why they should keep tuning in for season 4?
Well, I think it should tune in season 4. I think that we're shooting on 35mm this year, so the look of the show is more exciting. It has a real kind of filmic quality, and I think there are huge twists and turns this year with all our characters. And we start the series with the realization that Morgana has her magical powers have grown tremendously, and so she's a real match now to Merlin. And how will Merlin deal with that? So there's plenty in store. So I think they'll be very excited.
Yeah, I'd reiterate that. I think the show is getting better and better. So I think if you enjoyed it before, I hope you'd enjoy it even more.